I want you to remember this day, and for this reason, because what took place today is a defining moment, both here in Vietnam and back in Washington in American politics, because what we're witnessing are two radically, distinctly different agendas that have been now laid bare for all to see. At the very same moment, as you can see, a historic summit with the President of the United States, who traveled 20-plus hours to Vietnam for a second summit negotiating a safer world for our kids and our grandkids. What were the Democrats in Washington doing? They purposely scheduled and hauled in Michael Cohen, day two, today, of course, televised the entire day of testimony, and one more day tomorrow. Why? Just to embarrass the president they have this psychotic hate for. Now, today, on the very day the president is holding this historic, high-stakes summit, think of your kids here. How profound in the future this may be for them or your grandkids. The denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, no more rockets being fired all over that part of the world, threats to here, threats to Guam. House Democrats, they had a more important agenda. They want to embarrass the president while he is now in negotiations and put on a circus, a spectacle in Washington, D.C. So I want you to just embrace the magnitude of this moment, because Democrats clearly are showing their true colors. This should be a day, no red, no blue, no conservative, no liberal, no Republican or Democrat. It's about safety and security for all of us. You know what? If a rocket hits some country, innocent people die, well, and we could have stopped it, because we now have clear evidence revealing exactly what they care about and what they don't care about. Make no mistake about this. Safety and security of you, the people, is certainly not at the top of their list. Instead, they would have put off these hearings to the next week. Now, instead, this insatiable hatred for the president, it now consumes all of their actions, all of their thoughts. As I've been saying, every second, every minute, every hour of every day of every month, and frankly, every year since 2015, and Donald Trump came down that escalator in Trump Tower. And what we're seeing in Hanoi is an American leader fighting to make the world a better, safer place. What we saw in Washington all day, just hours ago, nonstop, was a Democratic Party, a hyperventilating, hysterical media putting politics over country with a political charade designed to just embarrass and trash the president while he represents our country abroad. I thought politics stopped at the, border's edge, right? No. That's why the House Oversight Committee called on Michael Cohen, who was just convicted of lying to Congress, to once again testify now before Congress. And it was just petty partisan politics. It was a circus. Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, I think, put it so well earlier today. Take a look.
What did you talk to Mr. Schiff about? Mr. Chairman, here we go. Here we go. Your first big hearing, your first announced witness, Michael Cohen. I want everyone in this room to think about this. The first announced witness for the 116th Congress is a guy who is going to prison in 2 months for lying to Congress. Mr. Chairman, your chairmanship will always be identified with this hearing. And we all need to understand what this is. This is the Michael Cohen hearing presented by Lanny Davis. That's right. Lanny Davis choreographed the whole darn thing. The Clintons' best friend, loyalist, operative, Lanny Davis put this all together.
Can you imagine if the president gets this accomplished? Wow. Some people might say he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize more than Obama. Now, Congressman Jordan was right on. This is nothing more than a political stunt, a hit job, a circus, highly orchestrated by, yes, the biggest Clinton supporter on the entire earth, Lanny Davis, who is apparently representing Michael Cohen for free, along with Democratic members of Congress and, yes, Michael Cohen himself. Here's the evidence. Let's take a look.
What did you talk to Mr. Schiff about?
I spoke to Mr. Schiff about topics that were going to be raised at the upcoming hearing.
Whoa. Not just what time to show up, actually what you're going to talk about?
The gentleman's time expired.
Wow.
Oh, now we tell people what we're going to ask them ahead of time so they can prepare all their answers. Lying Adam Schiff, the biggest liar in Congress, he was caught colluding again Yeah, remember the tape of him, talking to somebody he thought was a Russian, giving them dirt on Donald Trump? Sounds like collusion. Now, also, Congressman Jordan got to the very heart of why the president's former personal attorney is now participating in this political hit job against his former boss. A whole sad saga. Watch this.
Mr. Cohen, how long did you work in the White House?
I never worked in the White House.
That's the point, isn't it, Mr. Cohen?
No, sir.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not, sir.
You wanted to work in the White House.
No, sir.
You didn't get brought to the dance.
Sir.
And now?
I was extremely proud to be personal attorney to the President of the United States of America. I did not want to go to the White House.
Now, there are multiple sources that Michael Cohen was, in fact, wanting a job and lobbying for a job at the White House. Southern District of New York, who prosecuted Cohen, they stated, quote, the following: during and after the campaign, Cohen privately told friends and colleagues, including in seized text messages, that he expected to be given a prominent role and title in the new administration. And think about this. That means, under oath, that people cared more about their agenda. Michael Cohen is already going to jail, and they put him at further risk for further charges down the road. Now, that was not the only inconsistency. He also said that the president didn't want to win the election at all, but then later said that Trump wanted to win at all costs, and even hinting at collusion, but without any evidence. He accused the president of campaign finance violations as it relates to Stormy Daniels, also said that the payment was intended to protect his brand because running for president was just one big marketing campaign. If it was a marketing campaign, the only collusion might have been, Trump Tower Moscow, which everybody knew about, and so much more. Take a look.
We know Mr. Cohen has been dishonest in the past. That's why he's going to prison in 2 months. But there are things today that he said during the several hours of questioning that just don't add up either. He said he never defrauded any bank when he was having a conversation questioning from Mr. Comer. Obviously, that's not true because he's going to prison for that very offense. Your first big hearing, the first announced witness of the 116th Congress, is a gentleman who is going to prison in 2 months for lying to Congress. I don't think that's what we should be focused on.
By the way, Fox News just got word that there might be a walk in just mere minutes with the president and Kim Jong-un as the summit is now underway here in Hanoi in Vietnam. Now, here's the problem. Democrats don't care one bit about Michael Cohen and his family. Not at all. Because they were the ones calling him every name in the book until fairly recently. Now, as a result of their partisan hatred of Trump, they don't care about Michael Cohen. They don't care about his family. And they may have put him in further legal jeopardy with the Southern District of New York that seemed pretty mad at him already on issues involving inconsistencies. For nearly 7 hours under oath at the request of House Democrats, Michael Cohen was frankly used by Democrats on this historic day to advance what is now a psychotic hate Trump mob that exists in this country. Yet during all the testimony, we saw no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. We saw no evidence of any crimes committed by the president. Nothing. In fact, Michael Cohen himself actually shot down some of the hate Trump media mob's favorite conspiracies. I'm sure this is hurting them a little. Watch this.
Questions have been raised about whether I know of direct evidence that Mr. Trump or his campaign colluded with Russia. I do not.
Have you ever been to Prague?
I've never been to Prague.
Never have.
I've never been to the Czech Republic.
Are you aware of anything that the president has done at home or abroad that may have subjected him to or may subject him to extortion or blackmail?
I am not, no.
Okay. Are you aware of any videotapes that may be the subject of extortion or blackmail?
I've heard about these tapes for a long time. I've had many people contact me over the years. I have no reason to believe that that tape exists.
So you had a conversation with the President of the United States about your impending testimony before the House Intelligence Committee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What was the nature of that conversation?
He wanted me to cooperate.
There you have it. The media's Russian collusion, hysteria, 2 long years, total BS by their new BFF. Nothing more than a conspiracy theory, and just like we've been telling you, but there is real Russia collusion, as we've chronicled. We won't go into that tonight. Without a doubt, Michael Cohen has been through a lot. His family has been through a lot. And Michael Cohen pled guilty to multiple felonies. He's lost his law license. He's now facing 3 years in prison. There is absolutely nothing for him to gain from today's political theater. And the question is, why would Democrats, if they didn't have a political agenda, open up Michael Cohen and his family to even greater risk? You saw all of that play out today in real time. Look at the House Freedom Caucus chairman, Mark Meadows, issuing a criminal referral over Cohen's testimony today. Great job, Democrats. You really helped out your friend. Take a look.
Did you have foreign contracts over the last 2 years?
Foreign contracts.
Contracts with foreign entities. Did you have contracts? Yes.
Yes.
Why didn't you put them on the form? Nothing to do with lobbying. It says it's a criminal offense to not list all your foreign contracts. That's what it says.
Well, then I'm going to take a look at it before I leave.
You know, it's just one more example, Mr. Cohen, of you skirting the truth.
Now, Congressman Meadows will be with us later in the show, but look at what the Democrats, because they so want to smear President Trump, think they cared about Michael Cohen or his family. Now he's facing more legal issues, more trouble for his life and his family. And that's no concern to the radical far-left Democratic Party, the ones that are so compassionate, willing to smear, slander, besmirch around anybody, any place, any time. That's why radical socialist Congresswoman, watch Tlaib, remember, actually implying that Congressman Mark Meadows was a racist for bringing an African-American former Trump Organization employee to the hearing to vouch for the president. An incredible exchange also showed a lot about the chairman of this committee right now, Elijah Cummings. Take a look at this.
The fact that someone would actually use a prop, a black woman, in this chamber, in this committee, is alone racist in itself.
Mr. Chairman, there's nothing more personal to me than my relationship. My nieces and nephews are people of color. Not many people know that. You know that, Mr. Chairman. And to indicate that I asked someone who is a personal friend of the Trump family, who has worked for him, who knows this particular individual, that she's coming in to be a prop, it's racist to suggest that I asked her to come in here for that reason.
Mr. Meadows, you know, and of all the people on this committee, I've said it and got in trouble for it, that you're one of my best friends. I know that shocks a lot of people.
And likewise, Mr. Chairman.
But you are. And I could see and feel your pain. We need to straighten this up.
Mr. Chairman, and to my colleague, Mr. Meadows, that was not my intention, and I do apologize if that's what it sounded like, but I said someone in general.
Yeah, she was talking about Mark Meadows and wouldn't admit it. By the way, what incredible, I don't agree with Congressman Elijah Cummings, incredible grace, class, what a moment for him and Mark Meadows. Now, is that, by the way, the same Congresswoman that called the president a mother bleep during the rally, the same person who pals around with Linda Sarsour, a virulent anti-Semite, and actually wrote a column for Louis Farrakhan's newspaper? She represents all that is wrong with today's modern, extreme, radical Democratic Socialist Party. It's their actions, their conduct, their beliefs couldn't be any more disgraceful. It's a party consumed by hate, radical ideas. They can't even put politics aside at the water's edge for 1 week and support this vitally important mission of the president abroad. Party now embracing social